how could we fire up science teacher education?
Maybe by combining arts and science.
Yes.
Our objective was that both students and prospective teachers would be able to use aesthetic approaches to learning.
And we have initiated 4 Storyline projects over 3 years in a junior high school in Norway. The projects involved us as teacher educators, our students, that is the prospective teachers, and students and teachers in one school.
And now we would like to share our experiences with you, but where should we start?
I think by introducing an essential concept in Storyline projects, the key question.
But what is a good key question?
The key question should unlock the student's mind in order to initiate inquiry-based learning in order to achieve certain competence aims. In this case, in science.
Yeah, but could you give an example of a good key question in our water project?
Well, it could be, what are the consequences of damming up a river in untouched nature in order to produce electricity?
Why is this a good key question?
Because it opens up for inquiry-based teaching in a complex way.
This key question can be explored by artistic means and by scientific means. And the questions triggers ethic dilemmas, social scientific issues and questions into the future.
But do the question involve relevant topics? Let's have a look at the Norwegian science curriculum. After year 10, shall the students be able to observe and provide examples of how human activities have affected a nature area, identify the views of different interest groups on the effects and propose measures that might preserve nature for future generations, give examples of how Sami people exploit resources in nature, explain how we can produce electrical power from renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. Oh yes, the key question is relevant, at least in our context. But why use Storyline?
Storyline represents a holistic approach. The students are active in sessions that have a certain duration over time, and the meaning-making process becomes so evident through inquiry-based approaches with active learning.
Some characteristics of a Storyline is that the teachers provide the line. That is the framework and the direction of the project. And the students, they create the story.
Yeah. And the teacher guides the project through key questions.
Connected to relevant aims.
Yes.
It's an open architecture with time for exploration and inquiry-based teaching and learning.
The topics chosen, in our case, were connected to science curriculum, and supporting subjects were social sciences, arts and crafts, and drama.
And science loops, they belong to Storyline. Science loop are lecture-like short elements given by the teacher or other people with specific knowledge in order to give, well, information and things to wonder about.
Yes, and to elaborate.
Elaborate.
But shall we now take a closer look at one of our projects?
Yes, it's called the Alta controversy.
A hydroelectric power station based on water from the Alta River in northern Norway was planned and eventually built in order to provide electricity to the region. The plant was constructed in untouched nature and in central parts of the Sami community. The construction led to massive demonstrations against the authorities, nationally and locally. Now, more than 30 years on, the waves from the controversy are still noticeable in the Norwegian society. The key question was, as you may have guessed, what are the consequences of damming up a river in untouched nature in order to get electric power?
One of the science loops was explanation of the water cycle.
And in the narrative, the students were framed as politicians, Sami people, policemen, dam builders, eco-philosophers and journalists. And in the performing part, they acted out the battle with the police out in nature, and the final performance was a big debate where they had prepared what they should say in the discussion about the Alta Dam.
So, what did the involved parties achieve?
The storyline combining art and science brought the students closer to the competencies set as goals in the curriculum. All this is documented, but for now I think you must believe me, it was worth doing it.
So, what is our main point to take home?
It is this. We have to fire up science teacher education, for instance, by introducing Storyline as a framework for science teaching.
Our example is but one how this can be done, how we can introduce an aesthetic approach to science teacher education.
So, are you ready to start to find the key questions suitable for exploration in your classroom?
You will be pleasantly surprised by the flow and engagement by the students when they are guided into active inquiry-based learning by thoughtful and inspiring key questions. The keys to successful Storyline projects.